Hey everyone, welcome to Lady Overlander Radio. Tonight we're chatting with Jess Caldwell of Lifekind Outdoors. Oh, we did not go live anyway, and I messed that up completely. Hold on.
And good, because the fly landed like right. Oh my God.
Okay, we're removing that. I think we are live, by the way.
Oh,
you are.
Yeah, we are. Okay, hey everybody. We're just doing our thing here. Woo, whatever we're doing. Just talking and, anyway. Grab your favorite drink, whether it's a coffee, cocktail, or tea, and get ready. It's Ladies' Night on Lady Overlander Radio. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. The Lady Overlander Radio podcast is available live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also catch the audio version on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all other major podcast platforms. Enjoy the show. Bro. That was terrible. Like, I messed up every part of it. Like,
that was an awesome intro.
Oh, yeah. Lord, this is gonna be a hot mess. Let me just say it right now.
I messed up every single part of that. I don't even know why. I even looked at it to make sure, and then as soon as I was talking, I was like, "What was I saying?" Okay.
What are we gonna say? Welcome to Lady Overlander Radio. Tonight we have Jess Caldwell with Lifekind Outdoors. Stay tuned.
Wild Kind.
Wine
Kind. I said Lifekind. We're not.
That's great. Yeah, it's a double, like
kind,
double
wild kind. Yeah. What? Yeah.
That's hard.
That we cannot.
So sorry.
Misty's internet sucks tonight, so she's on the struggle bus.
Struggle busing anyway.
Her face doesn't really look like that. She does have new hair, but that's not her face. That's not her. Oh, we're pretty good right there.
Am I frozen?
Yes, but we can see your face.
Well, you can hear my voice?
Yes.
Yes.
The pixels are strong.
Anyway, Arla, you're going to have to ask the questions tonight because I'm just going to freeze up and I'll do the comments.
Oh my goodness. I cannot. So, Misty.
Yes.
What has been going on lately?
Oh, let's see. We just got back from Overland of America, which was an awesome show for its very first year. It was a lot of fun. We floated in the lazy river and we were in a hot tub and we taught a few classes and stuff too. And did some important girly business stuff, girl boss stuff, but we had a lot of fun. It was a really good time, a great venue. I mean, I had a great time, but I was exhausted when I got back. How about you?
I'm still on the struggle bus a bit. I'm not going to lie. At lunch today, I went out to my Jeep and put my seat back and literally took an hour. I took a nap. If you know me, I don't nap. I'm not that girl. But dude, this weekend was busy. And if y'all didn't go to Overland of America, you missed out. Completely unique venue compared to any others that I've been to, that Misty's been to, that several have said that they've been to. But it was in Jay, Oklahoma, Mid-South, and they have a couple of pools, a lazy river, huge pavilion. It's 3,500 acres. Just so much going on. Trail rides. We had the Barbie Jeep race, and our Barbie Jeep, the LOR Barbie Jeep that we had Shane McKnight driving, won that.
Woohoo!
Yes. So you need to get on and look at all the videos that are on Overland of America because it was pretty epic.
Yes.
But it was a good time. We did lots of things. Lots of classes. Yeah, but it was good.
Awesome.
It was good. Hoping that they bring it bigger and better next year.
Oh yeah, I think they will. Jess, you got to check that show out. It was really awesome. We did a ladies only area, kind of like what we did at Expo P&W and Mountain West. and had a great turnout. We did an evening kind of get together thing. We had a hot tub there and just had a charcuterie and drinks and just talked and got to know each other. It was a lot of fun. Really
That
good
sounds
time.
amazing. I'll
Yeah.
have to put it on my radar for next year.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But what have you been up to? What's new with you since I saw you last?
Oh, yeah, because we saw each other last in Colorado
Mhm.
for the Mountain West Expo. We were both teaching and just kind of passing through the classes, a little high five send off. Let's see. I have been busy, like really busy. I'm teaching a lot. I'm heading out to Texas tomorrow to teach a women's retreat, teach wilderness skills, do wilderness skills training. I'll have about 40 women that I'll get to work with this weekend. And I actually also just last weekend was filming in Colorado. There was a French outdoor TV channel that came and wanted to highlight Colorado and then specifically women leaders in the outdoors who are teaching wilderness skills. So I'm going to be on French TV.
Oh, cool.
Ooh la la.
Oui,
cool.
oui.
Yeah, it was really great. Yeah, they were cool. Yeah, they loved it. They were like, "What's a ferro rod?" They were so excited. They were just like, "Can I have this?" We're like, "Sure, take it home with you."
Yeah. Take it, whatever. Where in Texas are you teaching this weekend?
Bandera. There's a beautiful ranch out there. It's the women's retreat's called Divine and Dangerous, the Divine and Dangerous Women's Retreat out of Bandera. And they have, a farm to table kind of food and lots of practitioners coming out to teach different things. There'll be a DJ and self-defense and all sorts of cool stuff.
Yeah, I saw that. You guys have a whole list of people that are going to be kind of collaborating on it. That's really awesome.
Yeah, it's a real like self-reliance style. Not just self-reliance, but also just, what you get when you spend time with women and you do all those nourishing things, you just to feel good. Yeah, I love spending time with dedicated time in women groups. It's always like, oh, I needed that.
Oh, absolutely. So why don't you talk a little bit about you? So you're a wilderness instructor, right? Wilderness survival instructor. And what else do you do? I saw you have a whole list on your website. So there's you're a woman of many talents.
Yeah, I don't teach all of the things. I mean, I started Wild Kind Outdoors, and I always have brought in some guest instructors for different things that I am not adept at. For instance, I don't teach basket weaving. I don't teach fly fishing. I don't teach some of the things that mushroom foraging. I love it. I'm just not someone that would feel confident teaching that. So it started with me reaching out to a lot of the people who had been on the Alone show, because there's a lot that lives over here in Washington or in the Pacific Northwest. And I'd say, hey, you've got this incredible skill. Will you come out and teach a class? And so a lot of the public classes are for, me doing a guest instructor, and everything from, fishing, foraging, intro to hunting, nature-based skills, crafts, and anything really that just gets us more in tune with nature, feeling more alive, feeling more connected. And then, I think that those types of skills bring us deeper into wild places with more confidence. I started getting into teaching wilderness survival because I took a 50-day advanced woodswoman work, or an entire 50 days out of my summer 2 years ago, where I lived in the mountains of Colorado. I had to build a primitive shelter and live in it for that time. And then I took all the summer classes that they had with all these different teachers that came out and taught different aspects of wilderness skills training. And then on the final 7 days of the 50 days, you complete with a 7-day solo. And so you have just a knife a knife, a ferro rod, and a space blanket, and just the clothes on your back. And so they send you off deep into on the river, backcountry, and you have a week to build shelter, make sure you're harvesting what you need for fire, doing some foraging, whatever scavenging you can for food, They
Wow.
prepare you in advance. So I did plenty of grub eating and crawdad eating and such, just whatever you can get. But it was a really cool experience. I mean, it changed my life really. And coming out of that, my confidence level for being by myself and independent in wild places became, really, I felt really good about it. And so I've really enjoyed teaching some of these things. A lot of the things I teach are how to prepare for going into the backcountry or into nature more confidently, what to bring, how to use your gear, what you need to do in order to make fire and set up shelter if you find yourself in a tough place. And really my focus, even though those are all the hard skills of wilderness survival, really is on the soft skills, the stuff around leadership mindset, intuition training, kind of the mindfulness
Yes.
piece of why this is even relevant and how it makes us feel good to do these things.
Okay, two things.
Awesome.
Two things. First of all, you're a badass.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks.
Second of all, have you tried out for the show alone?
I actually I was approached for season 10. And I submitted all my film and I did a lot to make that process happen to be selected. I definitely was down to some of the, probably the top, I don't know, 30, 50, and did their process and I really thought I was going to be on the show, but they ended up not choosing me. And I think it was because I didn't have enough hunting experience. I know they really wanted to have a strong hunting show that year, season 10, because people were kind of getting sick of people just starving out there. Like no one wants to watch a starvation show. So they really started to say, we really want strong hunters and trappers who can get in there and harvest food and thrive. I had hunted, but I have not hunted with a primitive bow by the time, I was practicing, I was getting good at my shot, but I hadn't had a successful hunt at that time. So I've been working on my primitive bow skills. And at this point, honestly, even if they circled back around and said, would you be interested? I'm not sure if that's the path I'd take right now. I don't know if my journey at this stage of my life is about being alone. Like I've done that. Like energetically, like I'm a divorced woman, I'm a single mom, and I've done a lot of time alone and I've done a lot of solos and they feel amazing. They've done what I need to do for me. I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody. And I really love community and I really love joy and I really love having a good time. And even though I love being out in nature and I love solos, I don't want to necessarily, uh, I'm kind of like queening out right now. Like I don't want things to suck. Like I've had the suck. I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah. We're too old for that crap.
Yeah. Like really.
I feel
for
that.
sure.
That's for the youngsters now.
Yeah. Like my 30-year-old self, 40-year-old self probably would have been like, let's do it. But I'm getting close to 50 now. So I'm like, oh, I'm good.
No, my hips hurt today. I don't think I
Yeah.
want that.
I'm not into that today. Yeah.
I'm gonna take
I
my
love
leave
adventure,
arthritis.
but it's like, make it comfortable and enjoyable.
So
Absolutely.
what do you think are some key points that you can let our women listeners know about traveling solo, camping solo, that kind of stuff? What are some things that they need to be aware of or, keep in mind?
Yeah, well, I'd want to make an assumption that a lot of the women who are into overlanding and doing this have done some legwork in becoming more sovereign and independent and confident with things if something were to go wrong. If communications were bad or their vehicle gets stuck, they know what they're doing to get themselves out of a hard situation. But I do feel that a couple things. One, I think that everybody should take a wilderness first responder training, especially people who go in the outdoors and just enjoy, outdoor adventure. Or even if you live in an urban center and that's not, that's not you're doing your urban life, I feel like it's this citizen responsibility for us to have some basic medical training if we are not allowed to call 911, or if 911 or EMS is not available.
Right.
We just live in a time where things happen, natural disasters, or anything could happen where it's just not available to make that call. And I feel like we should all have some basic skills on how to take care of ourselves if there was a medical
Mhm.
emergency, but also the people that are with us, our family, our friends, and have that leadership. I feel that that's a really great class to take. So I really tell people, hey, that's a good one. It's an investment of time and energy and money. It's not a CPR. It's not a 1-day CPR first aid class.
Right.
Uh, because those classes teach you how to just kind of keep things okay until 911 gets there and takes over. And even then, when an ambulance comes, they have all the medical equipment, modern medical equipment to take over. Well, if you're hiking and you're deep in, or you're overlanding and you're way out there, you're
Mhm.
not going to have access to that medical equipment. And so you need to know what you can use that's on you in your pack or in your vehicle that you can use to help stop a bleed, or to be able to put a tourniquet on, or to be able to, what do you carry that if for our top kind of medical concerns that come up,
Yeah.
lightning. I mean, there's just things that we want to be able to be adept at. So I think that's a big one. um, and then the other one is, I do think it's really important to learn some of the basic, what I'd call human skills. They're not, we call them wilderness survival, but isn't it funny that our ancestors, like, their every day is making fire and setting up shelter. I mean, that's called being
Mhm.
a human. You know how to
Yeah.
work with the elements to be able to get your needs met. And so I think everybody should be in touch with basic human skills in the elements, in the outdoors.
Isn't it crazy how we've evolved and gotten so far away from nature and being part of the outdoors to where now we're all in air conditioned houses and go through drive-throughs for coffees and, have electric running water, all of that stuff. And, in a relatively short period of time throughout history, it's just crazy to me how rapidly that occurred, and how some people, if they were to lose power, lose, the access to water, all of that stuff, how many people would actually really, really struggle.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
it's
I
scary.
I consider myself a self-reliance coach for sure. I
Mhm.
mean, people hire me privately to come out to their homes or to just work with them on what they need to do for even their own kind of sense of well-being, that if we had a grid shut down for a bit or anything. And I'm not a fear-based person, so I'm not someone
Mhm.
that's like kind of got that energy of like, the world's coming to an end and we
The
need
sky
to,
is falling. Yeah.
lock down. And that's just not where I come from. But I think some just understanding how fragile things can be, our food supply chain, or even supplies of any kind. There is a fragility to what we've set up, kind of a matrix that isn't necessarily super solid, because in a short amount of time we have just exploded in this way, but
Mhm.
it's not how we were meant. It's not how humans always related to the world. So I think having some basic things in place and skills and some preparedness is just a really good idea.
I agree. And I'm definitely finding you if there's an apocalypse. I'm just saying.
I know. Do you
Yeah.
know how many people that I have been asked to be on their zombie apocalypse team?
Yeah,
I'm like, that is
totally.
the most invited party that I have ever been to.
You're number one on my list, girl. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like,
you're
She is
up
our zombie apocalypse, like, teammate, which
She's the
I'm
team lead.
down. I love zombie stuff. I'm like a total zombie fan. I love zombie movies. I love I love I love it. So I'm always like, yeah, let's talk about how we're gonna do this.
Oh
That's
my.
awesome. Am I freezing up again?
A little bit, not bad.
Yeah, you're doing
Yeah,
all right. Better than at the beginning.
Yeah, you're doing
I
okay.
know. It's really strange.
We can hear your
Sometimes the
voice.
Starlink works excellent and sometimes not so much.
I had I'll tell you what, because I had an experience this summer. I was in Colorado coming out of an area with no cell reception, and I have a Toyota FJ that
Mhm.
is fairly new to me. I've had it for like a year, but it showed like in the back of the rig when I bought it, it shows that there's a kit to change a tire and all that. And I was like, okay, cool, all this stuff's in there. But I just didn't do a very good job of like really connecting the dots. And I'm way out there. There's no cell reception. It's probably 9 o'clock at night. It's dark. And I finally get out of this really like major canyon. And luckily I was coming into town and boom, I had a tire blowout,
Oh.
like full on, and it could have been really bad. Like, I don't know what I really would have done. I mean, I would have hung out until someone found me. I mean, or hiked. I would have started hiking, but it's one of those things where it was such a wake up call for me because the tools did not work with. It's almost like someone put something in, but it didn't work with my tires. So
Oh, no.
couldn't get that tire changed for the light. It's nothing I would have been able to do. And anyway, it all resolved, got fixed. I got out of there and I had some help with really lovely strangers. But after that, the very next day, I went and bought all new tires because they were 12 years old and I didn't like pay attention that I'm driving in really rugged places with
Dry rot.
tires. So I got all new tires, but then I also went in and got like, for the first time, it was like, okay, I want a really good jack that I can easily use, even if my strengths, just like easy. I went and got like a mini air compressor. I got like everything. I like stocked up my vehicle to be more self-sufficient for when things
Mhm.
go wrong. And I'm sure that like speaks your love language because like
Mhm.
probably all do that as a norm, given
Yes.
what you do in your rigs and travel. But oh my gosh, like I was not prepared and I learned a huge lesson. Thankfully,
Mhm.
it was a lesson I could handle, but it was, oh man, now I'm like starting to get gear for my car for when things go wrong.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's how a lot of us learn. I've made mistakes. I've gone out and not known how to use gear that I had with me or didn't check things or whatever and I've gotten jammed up and stuff. But the important thing is that you realize that that was kind of a deficiency area and you went and resolved that like relatively quickly. And I mean, all new tires and everything. That's like, you probably spend a pretty penny on getting all of that prepared.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
all this money I made at this retreat I did was like straight to the vehicle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you brought up something interesting about how sometimes we have all this cool gear that we buy, but then we don't actually practice how to use it and work with
Mhm.
it. And that's a big thing probably across the board because I can imagine, like, in all fairness, I actually haven't used my new gear yet. So like I need to do that. This is a reminder that I need to actually try everything out. Because I also got like a portable battery charger and just things that I
Mhm.
probably need to just figure out, yeah, how it works so that when I'm not, if I were in a situation, I wouldn't be like, oh shoot, I need to YouTube this right now and there's no internet.
There's no
um,
signal. Yeah.
but people do that with wilderness survival gear too. Like they'll just buy a 72-hour emergency kit, or they'll buy kind of kits ready to go and they have maybe water filters in there and ferro rods and things, but they've never worked with it before. And I see that a lot, especially
Mhm.
like people pull out a brand new ferro rod and it's all black. It has this like black coating and they're trying to get a spark off of it, but you have to take that black coating off. And you wouldn't know that unless you're taught that. So it's just interesting how, I mean, that translates across the board, how important it is to work and learn with your gear. And that's why I put those classes on, is to show people that.
So you're gonna go in on the day off, and you're gonna go out there and get all your gear out of your car and play with it, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I will do that, Mitzi. I will do that.
Okay. Next time I see you, I'm gonna ask.
Okay.
No,
That's
that's
good. I'm
important though.
committed.
Just like it's important for the stuff that you teach and stuff. That's what we tell in our ladies classes as well. If you have any kind of gear with you, make sure you know how to use it, because if you don't, you can end up getting yourself hurt. So, it's the same thing with the stuff that you take out into the forest. And, it's
Mhm.
important that you know how to start a fire, how to find water, just some basic things, how to make a quick shelter or something to stay,
Mhm.
safe in if you're stranded out in the woods. And a lot of us go pretty far out. So, those wilderness survival skills are imperative, and vehicle,
Yeah.
basic vehicle recovery and repair are imperative. So,
I imagine another thing that the overlanding community, especially women, that we're talking to women here, that it's like um, the other piece that we teach in wilderness survival is a lot to do with that soft skills around like situational awareness and
mhm,
really working with your senses to tune in to what's going on around you. And I think sometimes I can imagine if you're traveling by vehicle and you're landing in a location, it's probably a little bit similar to, the comfort of a home. You've got air conditioning,
mhm,
you've got all your needs met, you've got the safety of the vehicle. But I'm sure there's quite a bit to really extract from even, removing that safety net of the vehicle to be like, how is this, let's feel out this space before I just camp here. And that's from a practical perspective of everything from, not being too, close to a river in case of flood, there's flash floods, and
mhm,
making sure you're checking weather ahead of time, have some sort of satellite communication to do some form of communication if you need be. Is there other people out there with tracks, any other dudes out there just to be aware of that there's people out there. I mean, it's the piece about really using your eyes, ears, all the senses. And even so, when I teach mindfulness training, which I do, we have these senses, and when we take time to do a sit spot in nature and really develop them, give them a chance to do, to really expand and feel, we're going to increase our intuition and our relationship with gut feeling. And so that nature immersion time that's quiet and connected, I think is really important for our building of self-awareness and situational awareness, to kind of really feel into, hey, something feels off to me. This location doesn't feel right. Something
mhm.
doesn't, I just feel off. Those are really important things to listen to. And we
Absolutely.
don't, sometimes we don't even know why we feel that way. And but it's like, if you build that trust with your gut instinct and say, yes, just something doesn't feel right, and I'm okay with that, I'm going to roll out and go somewhere else.
Absolutely. I think whenever when we're teaching safety in some of our classes, one of the things is if you pull up to a campsite and something doesn't feel right and you've already unpacked and done all your stuff, it's okay to, you know, cut and go.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because you're going to have a lot better night if you just do that, rather than sit there all night being like, I feel funny, I don't
Mhm.
feel safe, or I don't feel this is a good spot.
Oh yeah. You gotta
Hmm.
trust your gut. You
Yeah.
gotta trust your gut.
Yeah. So I wanted to go back to one thing you said about the um, being relatively safe because you have a vehicle with you. But we just had a friend recently whose vehicle went over the side of a shelf road. And if something like that happens and you're by yourself, you're going to need to get yourself out of the vehicle and still kind of keep yourself relatively safe. You could still use the vehicle as shelter, if as long as it's safe to do so. But there's a
Mhm.
lot of different scenarios. I one YouTuber I watched a few years back, his Jeep caught on fire when he was out in the middle of nowhere, and
Wow.
all kinds of random things can happen.
Yeah.
My Land Cruiser broke down in the middle of a forest, and thankfully I was close enough to be able to have it towed out of there. But it's important, I think, across the board. If you're going to be out in the wilderness, you definitely need to know some basic stuff to keep yourself safe.
Absolutely. I mean, I mean, there's so many outliers out there.
Yeah.
Nothing is state, it's not static and stable. It's like weather happens, um, things happen, what vehicle, things happen. So yeah,
Mhm.
I feel like it's a good partnership with the Overland group to bring in wilderness survival and basic medic training. Like,
Totally.
I think that is a really great, like, pairing of skill sets and such. So I'd love to do more with it, especially for the women.
Yeah. No, I think it's that, at Overland Expo when we did the Women Who Wander Pavilion, and we had your classes and the ones that I was doing, and then we had a mother and daughter that were doing like vehicle maintenance and stuff. I thought that was a great, really well-rounded, catalog of class offerings for women to come to, and I thought that was really good. I really
Oh,
loved that
yeah.
Azure kind of tied us all together like that.
Yeah, she's amazing, and there was some really great classes. I wanted to go to all of them. I was pulled and being like, "Oh." I was there with, Jason, who's the owner of the Survival University, and I was like, "Okay, you go to this class, and I'm gonna go to this class, and then we'll come together and we'll share notes." And I did more going to classes than I did walking around at all. I was pretty much
Mhm.
just going to classes because I love learning, but it just felt like, "Oh,
Yeah.
there's all these resources here." I really wanna learn what I can. The other thing that I thought was awesome is I did one class in the women's pavilion, and I had half of the class was men, if not more.
Mhm. Yeah.
I was, like, not expecting that, and I really tailored the class to women. I even had a slideshow, and it was all women, and it's so I wasn't expecting that, and at one point, I said something in my slideshow about mermaids. I don't like I was like it was very feminine, and so I was like, "Okay, sorry, gents, I wasn't expecting the crew," but I was really glad to see men engaged and wanting to come learn from women and sit side by side by women and
Mhm.
really be there wholeheartedly. I was really impressed.
Yeah, it's really neat because a lot of the classes that I was teaching, men would come with their wives or their girlfriends or significant others, and they would sit in. And so when we were doing like the ladies' hygiene class, I would kind of make a half joke. I'm like, okay, guys, you might want to cover your ears for this part, but we're going to talk about some girl stuff. But, I'm thrilled when people, when men come and they're supportive with their significant other and they're right, sitting right there with them and learning
Yeah.
and, just really encouraging them. Yeah, go and learn this and, so we can go adventure together. I think it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, that's super cool. I mean, I loved having the men there. I didn't see that at all at the Redmond Expo for the Pacific Northwest. I didn't see any men come to classes. So yeah, it was just a really different crowd in Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
We
one
had
thing.
a
Oh,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I taught at the Kids Pavilion too.
Mhm.
And again, I'm so glad to have these moments talking with families or women about wilderness skills training. Two things to say on that. One, there was a dad with his two kids, and they're doing the overlanding lifestyle. They're living it. They're homeschooling their kids. But we are talking about animal safety and what to do if you came across a big game animal like a cougar or a bear. And
Mhm.
the dad, like, literally, when I said do not run, you're kind of, you want to get as big as possible and get together and open up your jackets and just do not run. I gave the whole spiel on what to do, and he literally was like, "You don't run?" And like, really? And he was serious. Like, he
Yeah.
thought if they ran into a big game animal that the plan would be to beat cheeks out of there. And
No.
I'm like, "Oh, no." Like, that okay, that is
Mm.
like, you're gonna really excite their predator
You
instinct.
run, they'll chase you. Yes.
Yeah, like, they're game over, like, you will be chased, but, I sometimes I don't realize sometimes how much people, and there's no bad question, or, I
Right.
really appreciate it when people genuinely want to learn how to be in nature with better. And so I'm really thankful that he was there with his kids, but it did surprise me, and I realize all the time that I think this is basic stuff that everybody knows, and then I'm like, "Oh, like, actually, there's a lot to learn to train on here and to understand about the outdoors." And then the second thing I noticed, a lot of the women in my classes at Overland Expo would come to my, kind of preparedness class, what to have in your 72-hour kit, how to use it. They all not all of them, some of them were like, "I've always just my husband's always taken care of that part." Like,
Mhm.
I make the playlist, and I organize the plan, and there's things I do, that kind of is my role, but I never think about the gear or the survival stuff or the 72-hour kit or the medical kit. Like, I just know he knows how to do that stuff. So I rely on him he's going to take care of all that, like, because that's not my department. And so I'm really,
What happens if something happens?
what's that?
I said, what happens if something happens to him?
Right. I
Mhm.
mean, that's like, well, that's what's awesome about taking a class like this is your department. It's all of
Mhm.
our department. For real. And I know I experienced that for the first time. This man I was dating in Idaho years ago, we were out shed hunting in Idaho, like way out, way, like we had to take a truck somewhere in the middle of nowhere, then get on a dirt bike and go further into the middle of nowhere, and then hike even deeper from there. And I put a lot, this was before I had my wilderness, training where I felt really confident. I completely was relying on him to know everything to get me out of there, to know I would have not known how to get back to the truck. And I realized at some point during the hike, because he injured himself, and I was like, wow, what would I do right now if he uh if he could not get himself, uh if he had like a medical something
Right.
go wrong, or an injury or whatever, I literally would die out here. I would die out here. There's no way I know how to get back to the truck, and there's no way I'd know how to sleep overnight out here once it gets
Mhm.
cold. So I think that was a huge eye opener for me, because I trusted him completely as an outdoorsman. He was really an adept outdoorsman, but it's like, what if something happens,
Right.
then what? Like, we all have to be outdoorsmen and outdoorswomen
Yeah.
if we're
Mhm.
going to do this stuff. If our mission is to go into the outdoors and go deep and go have these awesome experiences, it becomes all of our job.
That's right.
Definitely.
I wanted to throw this up here. Michael with Off Duty Overland said that he would be lost without his better half. She makes sure everything is good to go. And that's
Sweet.
Sabrina. And I can absolutely see that. She's been on several trips, women's trips with us, and she is very well prepared.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
She actually taught my daughter how to swing an axe and how to chop wood
she
when we
did.
went out on one of our women's trips.
She did.
That's
Yeah, she's
great.
awesome.
Mhm.
That is
Great.
so
She's a
great.
paramedic, and she's just really, really into the outdoors and stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah,
And so is he. They're
There's
both
just more and
paramedics
more
and
women
work in the
leaders.
same spot.
What's that? What
They
you say?
work together.
her and her
Oh,
husband.
They're both paramedics. Yeah. Yeah.
wow.
Crazy.
Bless them.
You must
Yeah,
like
I
each
don't know
other
if I
a
could work with
lot.
my spouse in a high stress situation like that.
Yeah, that's amazing. But yeah, that's so
That's
cool.
awesome.
I mean, and I meet more and more women, badass, just skills based. So,
Mhm.
I'm learning all the time from other people. I mean, I go to classes all the time. I try to learn from other people as much as I can.
Absolutely. That's what it's
Mhm.
all about. You're always constantly learning. So,
Mhm.
you know. So what
Before the show started, you had said something about your dog. Let's talk a little bit about your
oh,
dog.
My Amber, she's a rescue Belgian Malinois. And I picked her up out of Denver. I think she's probably about 13, 14 months old.
Mhm.
I tell you, she's a business write-off for me, because I write her off as my security team.
Nice.
And
and she
honestly,
keeps you secure.
what's that?
I said, and she keeps you secure.
She does.
Mhm.
I mean, that one thing I'm kind of learning about being a solo female traveler, because I do drive cross country, I'm driving all the time, all over the place. And sometimes I arrive at even, I know this isn't overlanding, but sometimes I get to a motel late at, beyond dark, 10, 11 o'clock at night. And I'm just so thankful to have a Malinois next to me when
Mhm.
I'm pulling up at a little motel, and I gotta, like, it's a little sketch out there some places in deep
Mhm.
in Montana, or this place or that. And I really love having her. But the greatest thing I experienced this summer is that so there's a hike that I facilitate through the Survival University every summer. We do it a couple times. And there's no trails. It's just, we're traversing rivers, and we're getting kind of from one part of the canyon down to another part. And it's beautiful. But she did that hike with me with the owner. At least she did it twice. But by the third time, I was facilitating a group of women, part of my women's river retreat, and I was the lead. So I didn't quite have every single river crossing, just like I'd get there, because pretty much you just have to get down river, but it's like, wait, do we cross here? Do we go on this end? I just followed her. Like, she had the entire hike totally dialed in. She knew exactly where the river crossings were. I just followed her. And then anytime there was a big animal that came, that I mean, not that I saw one, but she would periodically be ahead and stop and just start growling. And then even at night at camp, because I had 10 women out there, she slept with me in my hammock. So I have a hammock sleeping system. And so she'd sleep, we'd just be like tacoed in the, like, she's like paws up and I'm paws up, and we're just for the first time, because I'm usually, especially if I'm facilitating a group, it's hard for me to sleep because I'm just a little bit on alert, for sounds, things I hear. And if we had a bear or something come into camp, it's like I'm always a little bit on alert. And now that she's with me, I can sleep because she immediately jumps out of the hammock and starts barking if anything is coming into camp. So highly recommend a good dog to travel with.
Do you keep a pet first aid kit with you?
Well, yes and no, but I like where you're going with this. And if you have any feedback of what I would put in a dog first aid kit, I would love to know, because I'm new to being a dog owner. Like, this is new to me. The only thing that I knew to put in advance, like, she carries a little backpack and she carries her own food and her own little water bowl. So it's really cute. But I did think to bring tweezers with me for her because of in case she got any cactus or anything in her feet for all that hiking. But I would love to know what to put in a dog first aid kit.
Well, I mean, humans and pets do have a lot of the same things, but there's some things that are not. I looked and looked and looked, and I ended up getting something off of Amazon. It was a $30 kit already set up and had things in it like gauze and bandages. It had the tweezers. It had these specialized plastic tweezers also that kind of shot out that were like for pulling ticks and things like that if they were to get into something like that. It had the whole mouthpiece and everything if you're going to have to give mouth to mouth.
Oh, wow.
On your pet, which I don't recommend unless you've had any kind of training for that. It's not going to be the same kind of a breath for a dog as it would be for a human.
Yeah.
But it has lots of different things in it, kind of ointments and just all kinds of different things that I never would think about. But, gauze and things like that for bandages and stuff. A compression bandage if they get something like that, an open wound or whatever. Michael is saying pads and a couple rolls of Coben. Am I saying that right? Coben?
I don't know what that is.
What's that, Michael?
What is that?
Tell us.
It had some blood stop kind of a thing in it for somewhere to happen. Yeah, tell us what that is, Michael. We need to know. Recurring minds want to know.
Oh, it's a wrap. It's that.
Is it a wrap?
That's sticky wraps when you get your blood taken that they put around to hold the cotton ball on.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So
Like
you can just wrap it on itself and it sticks. Gotcha.
Yeah. Like, I know that, like, I bought this, I went with Soccer. I think that's how you pronounce it. Saker. That is her pack system. But one thing I like about it is you can. Oh, good.
Sorry. Always have feminine pads on everything. You can use those things so many ways.
Totally. But when you take the packs off, there's a handle on the frame where you can pick the dog up. So, it's like a way to if you had to, if they were injured or they couldn't use a foot, that you can kind of help support moving them, um, and getting them out. You can literally turn it into a pack and put them on your back like a backpack.
Mhm.
You can buy as little or as much as you want of a kit, depending on what you want to spend. Like I said, mine was $30. It did have like the blanket in it, like the solar silver blanket or whatever, the heating blanket, or if you want to call it that, in there as well. But they have so many different options out there.
I know.
Lots of vendors carry them, but I just got on Amazon and just looked through several of them and started with this one. And
I think I should market that. Like, okay, now I'm like, I'm having all these big ideas. I'm like, I need to put together my own dog medical kit and sell it, brand it. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of the stuff, first aid kits are pretty gimmicky. They sell you a lot of things that, they're very expensive, and it's like a lot of Band-Aids and hand sanitizer, but missing some of the, it's like unnecessary to travel around with. So I'm pretty picky about, after I work with Off-Grid Medic, and they teach you how to use your everyday things to do what you need to do.
Yeah.
And I love that. I'm like, I'm pretty simple that way.
I like it. Keep it simple and use what you already got with you. I love it.
Like, my first aid kit is just in a quart size baggie. Like, that's my first aid kit, but I'm very confident of what's in there and how to use it.
Mhm.
And
Well,
it's
if you're backpacking, everything's small.
yeah, that's true.
Backpacking, yeah.
Yeah, light and
Yeah.
small. Yep.
Always
Totally.
space restrictions on all of these things.
Mhm. So what do you have coming up for 2025? Are you have any retreats coming up or any other plans? You want to do some more shows?
Yeah, I'd love to do some more shows. That was really fun. So I hope to stay at part of that kind of travel and do to the other expos. I do have some retreats coming up. One that I don't know how relevant it is for the overlanding group because it's in Maui.
I'm in.
So, but we all need a little
We're there.
vacay in February. But I am putting together a really cool February Maui retreat. It is a rewilding style retreat. Where it's farm to table food and incredible, organic caters. We're doing a wild tropical plant walk. We're going to work with a hula instructor who's going to teach sacred dance. There's going to be a lei making workshop. We're going to go hiking in the Makawao forest, waterfall adventures. So I'm yoga every morning. So I'm pretty,
Oh,
if you need a little winter break to come and just renew and feel that recharge from sunshine and beach and good company with women, that's going to be awesome. That I just got live on my website today. But the one that's maybe more relevant for the Overland group, who loves to do adventures with their vehicle, I do my annual Wild Women's River Retreat. And this year I'm also adding a co-ed retreat. So we're going to do one just women. And then the following weekend will be co-ed for men and women, which I think is going to be awesome. It's near Cripple Creek, Colorado, on this beautiful Chapman Ranch out, on the river, car camping. So people can roll their rigs in, set up their whole deal. It's a beautiful spot. We'll hike during the day and do some wild foraging. There's a beautiful swimming hole to get, have fun and cannonball in the water. We're going to do all the foods included. So we're going to do campfire cooking. This
Nice.
last trip, last time I did it, we made homemade bread in a cast iron Dutch oven over the fire. And that was a real hit. And we
Pictures.
we cooked salmon over the fire, just like laying out and cooked it over the fire. And so we're going to do that again in August of 2025. And for overlanders who want to take their rig out somewhere really cool, that would probably be a great one, because you can do all the car camping or luxury in any kind of way, but we'll have all this time, and we'll also learn some bushcraft skills. There's going to be we always teach how to work with blades, how to chop wood, how to build fire, how to harvest materials off the land for fire with the foraging, and then we still are going to start our morning with yoga, and so because we all need that kind of like feeling good in our bodies, and then the presence process, just being in nature immersion. So that one's going to be in August, and it'll probably be live on my website. Well, it's already live on the survivaluniversity.com website. It'll be live on my website in the next day or so.
Now, are you slated to go to any of the Overland Expos next year already?
That's going to have to be my next kind of calendaring, is just figuring out when and where, and putting them on my calendar, because I would love to. They're a great event. Just a great event. Yeah. Will you both be at all the Overland Expos? And yeah.
We will be at the 4. We won't be at the California one or whatever, but we'll be at the 4 main ones. Yeah. Both of us will be. Yep.
Well, the next one's Arizona, right? Or did that already happen?
Oh, it's in Virginia. East is coming up the first weekend in October.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
That's the last one for the year.
Okay.
For them.
Yeah. Yeah. I met so many people. It was a fun time. Everyone's cool. It's a good group of people.
Yeah.
So if people want to find you on social media, on the internet, all the things, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody how they can find you?
Okay, yeah, thanks. So the website's wildkindoutdoors.com. And my Instagram, my personal Instagram, where I share a lot of my adventures, is wildkindjess. And then I also have Wildkind Outdoors on Instagram, which is more of the professional account, where I set out a lot of the classes and pictures, images from the events. On Facebook, also Wildkind Outdoors. And I just started a YouTube channel, Wildkind Outdoors. And I've posted one little intro video. And now I have to wrap my mind about all that's involved to have a YouTube channel, because I got inspired at the last Overland Expo. I went to that gentleman who talked about YouTube.
You want to be a YouTuber, Matt? Yeah.
Yes. And I was like,
I've
got to do this. I've got to do this. I have so much content, and I pretty much live in the outdoors full time, doing these wild things. And it's like, I have so much content. What have I been doing?
Yeah. It's time to get on it, girl.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. I know.
No pressure.
Yeah.
So learn how to use your tools in your car, make a doggy first aid kit or a pet first aid kit, and blow up your YouTube channel.
Okay. Wow. That is an incredible to-do list.
That's your 2025 goal right there.
2025. And it's so supportive. Like, thank you. I love it when like women supporting women, like, okay, you got this. Like, you just need to do this, this, and this. And sometimes like other people see what you need more than you can see it yourself. And they're like, you know what you need to do. And I always love those, love that. Cause I'm like, what do I need to do?
What do I need to do?
Like, what am I missing? It's right in front of my face.
Lastly, for 2025, you must come to all the Overland Expo shows and hang out with your girls.
Yes, I know. And I love it. Okay, well, I will, after we get off this episode, I will get online and start seeing where the dates are so I can be there.
Sweet. I don't know if they put them out yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they are going to be around, from what I've been told, around the similar weekends that they were this year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
so
great.
Right around that mid-May range is going to be West and so on. So it should be as soon as East is over. I would say within the next few weeks after East, the 20 dates should be out, I think.
Okay,
so,
probably after Rebel Rally, since Azure is running that again this year, being a contestant in that. So after that, I'm sure they'll probably break
awesome. Loose. That's so cool. Yeah, love it.
Yeah,
great. Well, I sure appreciate you ladies for inviting me to join you here on your cool podcast platform. It's so profesh.
Oh yeah, except for the beginning.
I don't think anybody's ever said it was profesh before.
No, well, I do. I like the logo and the mics, and it's like the commercial at the beginning. I was like, oh yeah.
And they're getting all of your name wrong, and then Arla getting your name.
Twice.
Hot Mess. Hot Mess Express. That's us. Everybody
Hey,
aboard.
at least you could hear mine. It was clear.
Oh, yeah, I
Hopefully it
could.
froze
Yeah.
up and nobody heard
Mine
mine.
grew up was
Wine
clear.
kind. That's like a
Wine
whole nother
kind.
business model.
Girl, yes.
Yes.
We're going to do wine kind retreat soon. Yes. Stay
Yeah.
tuned.
Yeah, I love it. Actually, we should.
Get drunk in the woods. No.
Oh my God.
Oh, thank you so much for being on the show tonight. We had a great time. Thank you, everybody, for watching and contributing to the comments. And we will get this posted up on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all the other major podcast platforms. It's hard to say. So everything else tonight. Love it. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.